So, with regards to the passports, many of you are aware that the Trump administration issued an executive order that basically prohibits transgender, intersex, and non-binary individuals from being able to have accurate gender markers on their passports. This is undoing a practice that has been available for more than 30 years. And there was different criteria of those 30 years that enabled people to get accurate passports. And a legal challenge was filed against this executive order on behalf of six different plaintiffs who were unable either to renew their passport and get it back accurately with the gender marker that they identify with instead of the gender assigned to them at birth, or individuals who had requested a corrected passport and couldn't get that, or people applying for a passport for the first time. And so a federal district court issued an injunction on behalf of those plaintiffs, basically providing relief for them. And the question about whether or not this relief should go to a larger group of people, she wanted to see more briefing on this issue. So this was another case that the National ACLU brought. It's called Orr versus Trump. And so they did briefing and they requested that this relief be expanded to a large class of transgender, intersex, and gender non-binary individuals in those three different scenarios. And the court agreed. And they issued a preliminary injunction against the further enforcement of the Trump executive order. So, of course, the Trump administration is going to appeal and request that that preliminary injunction be overturned. But in the meantime, we've been advising people in those situations to now go to your passport office and apply to get your passport corrected or to get an accurate passport. Some people, when they've turned in and they've requested a new passport or got their first passport, they're receiving a passport back with the gender assigned to them at birth, which goes against what the preliminary injunction says. And then other people are being told at the passport office that we haven't gotten guidance from the State Department, so we can't implement this kind of relief. Although the court said this injunctive relief needs to take place immediately. And then other people are hearing from their passport office, we were told that we don't have to listen to what a federal district court says. Wrong. We can wait to see what the United States Supreme Court says. So the ACLU National has filed a motion to compel the State Department to comply with the federal district court's injunction. And they've requested what's called an expedited hearing and briefing for the court to look at this issue. Aside from, this situation where people should be able to access accurate identity documents, I can't overemphasize what this means, where an administration is choosing to ignore or discount court orders. I mean, we have three branches of government, checks and balances, and if the executive branch is willfully saying they're not going to comply, or just passively not complying, that should be very, very concerning to everyone, aside even from the passport situation. The other thing I wanted to mention is, preliminary injunctions are not something that a court takes lightly. When they decide to put something on hold and to stop enforcement, they have to look at two things. One, they have to decide whether or not it's likely the people that are asking for this injunction are going to succeed on the legal merits. And the basis of challenging this is equal protection argument. Only a certain class of people are being denied the ability to have an accurate passport. But also the irreparable harm the court looks at that if an injunction's not put in place. And we see this. We see many, for instance, transgender people in our state of Michigan, they have accurate identity documents, their driver's license, their birth certificate. And then with their passport, if they're traveling to another country, they are now given a passport that doesn't reflect who they are, their gender presentation, their gender identity. They could have problems at the border. They could have difficulty in terms of even being able to get a visa because of these sort of things. The court recognized these significant harms, and it was a very dense decision, in terms of looking at all the information and the facts and what was presented in rendering this decision. So hopefully we're going to see this administration comply with the federal court injunction. And we want to encourage people still to go ahead and try to, if they're in any of those situations, to try to get their passport corrected. Because as of today, the Trump executive order is not enforceable. And so it goes back to the way things were in the Biden administration, where you filled out a form and you said, "This is my gender identity. This is the gender marker I'm requesting," and you would be able to get that. That's the way things are supposed to be.
Someone also asked on passports if we've heard of anyone having success obtaining an accurate passport since the judge's decision. I
I
haven't, but it would probably be too soon at this point.
Yeah.
So,
I
yeah,
mean, when I heard from National, they did hear from someone who did apply for a passport and did get it within a week period, but with the wrong gender marker on. So
got it.
that could be anywhere in the country too. So
Is there a reason we should still apply for passports even though Trump is ignoring the court order? I'm curious the rationale if you share. I'm going to go first on this one, Jay, and just say, like, we're not asking you to do anything you're not comfortable doing, right? And so another thing, the same way I think we did our best to advise folks before there was kind of a nationwide stop on this, right? Was you should be making these decisions like based on your own personal comfort level, personal risk level, like that exchange of like what does it mean to you versus the potential consequences. Also, I think the really important thing to note is if you don't have any urgent international travel and you just want to spend a couple weeks more or a month more to see how this starts to play out, I think that's okay too, right? And so I don't think this is a situation where it's like if you don't get your application in tomorrow, your window's closed, right? So if you're someone who prefers to come here and wait it out and see how this process plays out, then I think you're encouraged to do that. Anything you would add there, Jay?
no, I totally agree with you, Emmy. It's an individual choice. Um, if you do choose to go ahead, I mean, because this injunction is in place and they're supposed to comply, and if you encounter problems, if you can let us know about it, because I think that will help with National's effort with their motion to try to get ask the court to compel the government to comply with this preliminary injunction.